If you double the number of experiments you do per year, you're going to double your inventiveness. Life's too short to hang out with people who aren't resourceful. A brand for a company is like a reputation for a person. You earn reputation by trying to do hard things well. One of the only ways to get out of a tight box is to invent your way out. What we need to do is always lean into the future. When the world changes around you and when it changes against you, what used to be a tailwind is now a headwind. You have to lean into that and figure out what to do, because complaining isn't a strategy. We've had 3 big ideas at Amazon that we've stuck with for 18 years, and they're the reason we're successful. Put the customer first. Invent. And be patient. There are 2 kinds of companies, those that work to try to charge more and those that work to charge less. We will be the second. What we want to be is something completely new. There is no physical analog for what Amazon.com is becoming. We expect all our businesses to have a positive impact on our top and bottom lines. Profitability is very important to us, or we wouldn't be in this business. It's hard to remember for you guys, but for me it's like yesterday. I was driving the packages to the post office myself, and hoping one day we could afford a forklift. I like treating things as if they're small. You know, Amazon, even though it is a large company, I wanted to have the heart and spirit of a small one. The great thing about fact-based decisions is that they overrule the hierarchy. Market leadership can translate directly to higher revenue, higher profitability, greater capital velocity, and correspondingly stronger returns on invested capital. Part of company culture is path dependent. It's the lessons you learn along the way. The common question that gets asked in business is, why? That's a good question, but an equally valid question is, why not? If you don't understand the details of your business, you are going to fail. I'm skeptical of any mission that has advertisers at its centerpiece. In the old world, you devoted 30% of your time to building a great service and 70% of your time to shouting about it. In the new world, that inverts. My own view is that every company requires a long-term view. A company shouldn't get addicted to being shiny, because shiny doesn't last. The most important single thing is to focus obsessively on the customer. Our goal is to be Earth's most customer-centric company. We see our customers as invited guests to a party, and we are the hosts. It's our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better. The best customer service is if the customer doesn't need to call you, doesn't need to talk to you. It just works. If your customer base is aging with you, then eventually you are going to become obsolete or irrelevant. You need to be constantly figuring out who are your new customers and what are you doing to stay forever young. If you're competitor focused, you have to wait until there is a competitor doing something. Being customer focused allows you to be more pioneering. If you're good at course correcting, being wrong may be less costly than you think. Whereas being slow is going to be expensive for sure. All of my best decisions in business and in life have been made with heart, intuition, guts, not analysis. If you can make a decision with analysis, you should do so. But it turns out in life that your most important decisions are always made with instinct and intuition, taste, heart. I believe you have to be willing to be misunderstood if you're going to innovate. Invention is by its very nature disruptive. If you want to be understood at all times, then don't do anything new. If you're not stubborn, you'll give up on experiments too soon. And if you're not flexible, you'll pound your head against the wall and you won't see a different solution to a problem you're trying to solve. The thing about inventing is you have to be both stubborn and flexible. The hard part is figuring out when to be which. What's dangerous is not to evolve, not to invent, not to improve the customer experience. I think frugality drives innovation, just like other constraints do. One of the only ways to get out of a tight box is to invent your way out. I believe you have to be willing to be misunderstood if you're going to innovate. It's not an experiment if you know it's going to work. If you decide that you're going to do only the things you know are going to work, you're going to leave a lot of opportunity on the table. There'll always be serendipity involved in discovery. If you're not stubborn, you'll give up on experiments too soon. And if you're not flexible, you'll pound your head against the wall and you won't see a different solution to a problem you're trying to solve. Life's too short to hang out with people who aren't resourceful. I don't want to use my creative energy on somebody else's user interface. The keys to success are patience, persistence, and obsessive attention to detail. If you do build a great experience, customers tell each other about that. Word of mouth is very powerful. Your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. A brand for a company is like a reputation for a person. You earn reputation by trying to do hard things well. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire.